Okay, I want to see what it sounds like when you age yourself talking about a business in South Florida that is no longer open. And it's kind of occurred to me when my wife and I were driving on the 500 block of Clematis Street in downtown West Palm Beach, and they're building over the old Spanky's location. I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember when that was Spanky's. My old roommate used to hang out there all the time. And I remember many a nights at Spanky's. It was kind of like a rock bar kind of thing. And I remember they had a basketball court out back.
Spanky's was where it was at back in the day.
Yeah, it was.
I'm talking about when I, would sneak into bars at 18 or 19.
Yeah, this is
Spanky's
25 years ago.
going off.
25 years ago, this thing was going off. So, yeah, I would be basically Spanky's on the 500 block years old. So if you know that, you got 25 years here in South Florida.
I would be Burdine's the Buffet years old. Burdine's didn't always have a buffet.
Okay.
I think I am Club 251 years old. Remember that over on Palm Beach Island? It was one of our first live gigs that we were doing when we moved to this town.
Right.
Literally 26 years ago.
I do remember that.
We started doing Club 251 on Palm Beach Island.
Yeah.
I was like blown away. I couldn't believe the opulence.
Yeah, I remember back then, you and I, not being from this area,
We're walking around with our mouths open like, golly, look at Palm Beach.
That's how I was. I just lived a couple miles away. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, look at all these lights. We didn't go to the island much as kids.
There's a lot of that you can go with nightclubs. I mean, I could go, I'm Monkey Club years old, I'm Club Safari years old, I'm Comedy Corner years old.
Yeah.
You remember that?
The Comedy Corner was the club before the Improv.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys, were you guys around for the Carefree Theater years old? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They had the Rocky Horror Picture Show playing there.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Somebody said I am Boomers in Dania Beach years old. You might be a little bit younger, though, because, I mean, that only shut down, maybe 10 years ago? Not even 5 years ago?
Well, there's the Boomers in Boca. Was there a different one in Dania?
Yeah, it evolved. I think you had a Six Flags there. You had several. You used to have Pirates World, you had Six Flags, and I think Six Flags with the big wooden roller coaster became Boomers before it finally shut down. They put Dania Point in.
Here's for all you old locals, Grand Prix Racerama years old.
Oh, wow.
Where is that?
I don't know that.
That was down
That's
south.
before me, yeah.
And that was...
that might be the same one.
I think it might be, and they would run commercials.
Because it had different names.
On the Grand Prix Racerama.
Right, yes. Yeah, I think there's an odd evolution in all that. We got Boley or Billy, one of the two here. Date yourself by naming a place in South Florida that is now closed. What would that be?
Hollywood Sportatorium.
Tell me about the Hollywood Sportatorium. This is before my time. Where was it? And they used to do concerts there, right?
Yes, we did. It was all the way at the end of Hollywood Art and Flamingo, that homes or anything. Back in the 70s.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the 70s.
Yeah, I've seen old photos of it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Some of the old venues.
It was a little thing. I mean, the roof one time fell down because it rained too much, and if it rained, you couldn't get out of it.
The
You're
roof
stuck in
fell.
mud.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys are gonna laugh. It was bass tickets, and we only paid $7 for front row.
Yeah, that's pretty unreal. It is fascinating. In fact, there's an Instagram page that I always go to, and it talks about all these places that used to be in South Florida. That Pirates World, back in the day, I think it was only open for 7 years. It had the unfortunate timing. It opened up, and then Disney opened in Orlando.
Oh.
And it only lasted 7 years. But one of the videos, they had a ride where, remember what a hobby horse looked like?
Yeah.
Sure.
They had these hobby horses, and they were on this track, and it was a roller coaster, but you didn't have any seatbelt or anything. You just held onto the hobby horse, and it took you around these rails. It looked totally unsafe and such a liability. But they had groups like Led Zeppelin and the Grateful Dead playing there, and the ticket was kind of like what Billy was saying, like $7.
Back in the day, you rode rides on pure faith.
Yep. Some of the other ones, somebody said, I'm a Wanna-Do City kid. Yeah, my daughter's a Wanna-Do City kid. She's
Yep.
26.
So's Magnolia. She loved it.
Yeah, and it's Brian here from Lake Worth Beach. Brian, maybe?
Yeah, it's Brian.
Brian, okay. Brian, age yourself by saying a business in South Florida that is no longer open. How old would you be?
Royal Castle.
Where was that and what was that?
So Royal Castle, I believe it's Broward Motorsports. It's on the corner of Congress and Okeechobee Boulevard.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's now, Broward, yeah.
A little fast food place. They're similar to White Castle or White Tower. Little square hamburgers. It's a white building with orange lettering.
No way.
Very long gone.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
Any ideas? Has anybody ever heard of it?
No.
I've never heard of Royal Castle, and that place has been Broward Motorsports probably for 15 years, and I can't remember what it was before that. It was something else before that. Wow.
I don't remember. It's been a while. So it's going to be early 70s. There supposedly is one restaurant location still around in South Miami somewhere. I did see that on Facebook. That's kind of what reminded me of it.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, they had little square hamburgers, little French fries, nothing special.
That's funny. They totally ripped off White Castle and called it Royal Castle. I have a feeling they probably closed because of trademark infringement.
They probably got a cease and desist.
Yes.
I don't know why, but it sounds so good to me.
Yeah, right.
You haven't had enough burger?
Yeah, you're right.
Some other people aging themselves with a business no longer open in South Florida. Somebody said, I am Galaxy Skateway years old.
So you got to roughly be around my age or
Probably.
within 10 years of my age.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Russell said, I am Showbiz Pizza years old.
Oh, that was my first real job. I loved working at Showbiz Pizza. Then it turned into Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay, yeah.
When Chuck E. Cheese came into this area, it was such a big deal. You couldn't believe that, the creatures moving around.
Animatronics.
Oh, my gosh. It blew the kids' minds.
It was technologically advanced back in our time. When you look at it now, you're like, oh, my gosh.
Everyone's getting all hopped up on beer, trying to fight the rat.
Christina is Wilt Chamberlain and Pete Rose's Ballpark Cafe years old.
Look, Pete Rose, that restaurant had some of, if not the best honey mustard these taste buds have ever had.
Yep.
Oh, I miss that place. Oh, I miss it.
Dina's on here from Palm Beach Gardens. Date yourself. Tell us how old you are by something that's no longer open.
I am Polar Cup years old.
I've heard that before. I think that's before my time.
Polar Cup was massive in this area.
You talk about that, Jay Bird.
Right? It was the bomb. But now that I hear you guys talking, there was also Dax and My Martini on Clematis Street, and those were awesome.
Yes, they were. Dax was Virginia and I's hangout when we first got to town in '99. We would go there every day. I love those frozen drinks, and we would just
And
people
I remember
watch.
251.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
Back
Yeah.
in the day, we used to suck down daiquiris, and we'd probably have about 4 or 5 daiquiris.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the amount of sugar?
Oh, I know.
If
I
I
didn't
have
care then.
if I have 2 sips of a daiquiri now, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's so sweet.
I was good. Mid-20s.
The
Nothing fazed me.
The Polar Cup, it would always come by our house in Lake Park, and you would get so excited. You could buy the biggest cup of whatever they were serving that day for like 85 cents. And I remember the last time we ate it, something bad had happened. My brother got a big lemonade one, and he's eating it. And as he's eating it, he had the biggest, it looked like a toenail in his mouth. And we
that's
never,
gnarly.
we never ate Polar Cup.
We're
again.
done.
Gnarly.
We're done, kids.
And funny
Wow.
enough, after that moment, I didn't see them around too much after that.
Yeah. Another text said, I am Baja Beach Club in Fort Lauderdale years old. I remember that. That was the one where I went there for the first time, I think, and they would always throw the napkins up in the air, and I'm like, that's just so wasteful.
How many trees had to die so you could throw those napkins?
I just didn't get into the wasteful ways of South Florida. I love seeing these little flashbacks, too. People saying, I am Twin City Mall years old.
That's my cut. That's
That
Lake
is.
Park.
Yep. I am Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater years old.
Wow.
I'm the Edge in Fort Lauderdale years old. They said that used to stay up until noon. I wonder if that would work now. I know, the only club I know that stays open all day into the next day is Space in Miami. I wonder if Lauderdale would work if they did that.
I wonder if you could talk to the people who had that bar that was open till noon. How many fights would happen if everyone's drinking and staying throughout the night?
I don't know. I guess it depends. I don't think Space really has a lot of fights, believe it or not. At least not that I hear of.
Because I think the bouncers will probably eat your face.
Everybody's on Molly.
That's true.
They're all petting each other.
Yeah. Probably. Well, hey, whatever it takes, I guess, to keep them from fighting, huh?
And look, modern day bouncers are just looking. They're looking for you to just do something squirrely.
Somebody else said, I'm Cinema Draft House years old. Sounds like a fun place. Does that ring a bell to you?
That sort of does ring a bell.
Okay.
That's got to be 70s.
Okay. Somebody said, I'm Penrod's on the Beach years old. Do you remember Penrod's?
No.
Okay. All right, some of the other ones are thrown out. And Hesmo's on here from Fort Pierce. Age yourself by naming off a business that is closed down in South Florida, Hesmo.
Jay Bird might remember this. Zips. They used to serve ice cream in the plastic baseball hats. And there's major league teams, so you could, get Oreo.
I remember those. I collected
Dodgers.
those.
I remember.
I love those.
Yeah, they were classic, man. You wanted it, and that was epic. Another thing, not get off topic, but it was the rides that were sketchy for kids.
Yeah.
We went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, ski over Gatlinburg, and they had this luge ride.
Right.
And all it was this cart on a metal track going down pretty steep terrain. You get up 30 miles an hour, and if you flew off the track, you flew into rocks.
Yes. I remember that. I wanted to do that.
You had a handbrake in the middle between your legs.
Right.
And you didn't want to go too fast, so you could push the limits to the
I went there. I think it was maybe at Ober-Gatlinburg they had that. And my mom took one look at that ride, and she's like, you're not getting on that.
Why? Was it you could smash into the rocks part?
It was just, it looked like you were just going to die. Just if you went on it, it just looked like death right there.
This is how we do. It's the KVJ Show.